J-Spot Jack Cheese, Cat Pack Comics, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different than the norm for the channel. If you are new to the channel, normally I do Pokemon trading card game pack openings and other stuff, but mostly just pack openings. But I thought it might be fun to branch out into one of my other loves, board games. I mean, you can kind of technically lump Pokemon TCG into that. It's a card game, board game, but it's okay. Sort of, it's still different. It's different. I love talking about games, and I love doing reviews. And seeing as I haven't done either on this channel or a board game review, like specifically ever, thought I'd give it a shot. So what am I reviewing today? You should probably know from the title of the video that you clicked on, I'm assuming, but it's Parks. My first ever Kickstarter. This, and actually what the Kickstarter, the new product, is the expansion Nightfall, which I'm also covering here. I think the format I'm going to try to go for with this, again, I'm kind of just doing a test run of this sort of, this avenue for the channel. I'll do set up how to play, and then follow it up with my thoughts afterwards. So kind of the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to board game videos on YouTube. No, I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. Before I dive into the game, however, please consider subscribing to the channel, leaving a like, leaving a comment on your thoughts below. And being my first ever board game review, I'm more than open to feedback, input, constructive criticism. And don't forget to check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/jspotjackcheese, where I stream a few nights a week and I play a lot of multiplayer games with viewers and friends. So feel free to stop at any time, say hi, and maybe play some games. Now that all the shilling and that business is out of the way, let's get into the game. From Keymaster Games comes Parks, a 1 to 5 player game for ages 10 and up, where players take on the role of hikers traveling through the United States' many national parks. As the seasons change and the trails get longer, you will casually compete and calmly screw over your friends as you try to be the hikers who had the best vacation, saw the coolest sights, and visited the most parks over the course of an in-game year. To set up the game, place the board in the middle of the play area within reach of all players. Take the 2 resource token trays and place them on each end of the board. To fill out the board, start by taking the Parks deck, shuffling it and placing it face down in the indicated spot, then draw the top 3 cards and lay them face up in the spots next to it. Do the same with the Gear deck, shuffling and placing it face down in its spot, then drawing and placing the top 3 cards face up next to it. Next is the Season deck, which will also be shuffled and placed face down in its spot on the board, and then you will flip the top card and lay it on top of the deck. The last spot on the board is for the Canteen deck. Shuffle and place it face down, then deal 1 face up to each player. The final deck is the Year deck. Shuffle it and deal 2 to each player. Each player chooses one of their cards to keep and places it face down in their play area, then they return all unused Year cards to the box. Now that the board is set up, next is the trail where the real gameplay happens. Start by placing the trailhead tile on the far left. Next, take the 5 basic site tiles, which are indicated by showing only the tent symbol on the bottom right. Advanced sites also have an asterisk mark and won't be used just yet. If playing with 4 or 5 players, add the tile with the 4+ marker to the basic tiles so that you start with 6 tiles. If playing with 1 to 3 players, return that tile to the box, it will not be used. Shuffle the advanced sites together and add 1 to the basic site stack, then place the advanced sites to the left of the trailhead. Shuffle your trail deck, the basic tiles plus the 1 advanced, and then reveal them one at a time to the right of the trailhead, placing each additional tile to the right of the previously revealed one. Lastly, place the trail end tile to the right of the last trail site, making sure it is not on the side showing the solo symbol, unless you are playing solo, of course. Each player picks their color and takes both hikers in that color and places them on the trailhead. Then everyone takes a campfire of their color and places it in their play area. Give the first player marker to the player who most recently took a hike, then give the camera tile to the player to the right of the first hiker. The final step of the setup is to start the season. Look at the revealed season card and note the effect listed in the center of the card, then look at the weather pattern indicated in the bottom right of the card. Starting with the second trail site, place the specified tokens in order, 1 per site, on each site from left to right. repeating the pattern as necessary until the final trail site, which gets the last token. Now you are ready to play parks. Starting with a player with the first hiker token and then moving clockwise, players will move their hikers down the trail until everyone reaches the trail end to close out each season. On your turn, choose either one of your hikers and move them to any trail site to the right of their current location and take the action listed. If a hiker is the first to land at a site with a token from the weather pattern, they receive it into their supply as a bonus to the site action. If a hiker is already at the site you wish to visit, even your own, you cannot stop there unless you extinguish your campfire by flipping it. Most basic site actions are to simply take the indicated tokens from the supply and add them to your own. One basic site allows you one of two options: to draw a canteen card, or to turn in 2 tokens to take a photo and take the camera. The slash indicates that only one of the actions can be taken, and any card or tile with a number in a brown square indicates that any token of that amount can be used to fulfill the requirement. The advanced sites are as follows. Turn in any 1 token to gain a wildlife token, which are, as the name somewhat implies, wild tokens that can be used in place of any other token. Turn in 1 token for any other token, excluding wildlife. The ×2 shows that you can do this twice if you choose. Reserve or visit a park, or buy a gear card. Spend a water to copy an action from another site that is currently occupied by a hiker. As a side note, keep in mind that you cannot have more than 12 tokens at the end of your turn, and must discard down to 12 if you exceed the limit. Anytime you draw a canteen, place it in your play area face up. To fill a canteen and take the action listed, simply place a water token you gained on that turn on the canteen. You cannot place a water token you gained in a previous turn. You have to make the decision as you receive it. There's no limit to the number of canteens you can have, and no limit to how many you can fill on one turn so long as you have the water to spend. For reference, remember that the canteen with a plus symbol refers to drawing a canteen. The canteen with the water symbol refers to canteens already in a player's area. Each photo is worth 1 point, and the player who holds the camera only has to spend 1 token instead of the indicated 2 to take a photo on that trail site. They also have the opportunity to take a photo once at the end of each season for the reduced cost. As mentioned before, to visit a site that is currently occupied by any hiker, including your own, you must extinguish your campfire by flipping your token. When one of your hikers reaches the trail end, you reignite your campfire and therefore have another opportunity to use it that season. After you reignite your campfire, you then must place your hiker in one of the 3 areas in the farthest right available spot and take the action indicated. The top spot is to reserve a park. To do this, simply take one of the face-up parks cards or the top card of the parks deck and add it to your play area, laying it horizontally so as to separate it from your visited parks. Then fill its board spot with another card from the deck. Reserved parks do not count towards your points, only visited parks do, but reserving keeps them from being taken by other players. On future turns, when you take the Visit a Park action, you can choose from any on the board or in your own play area. The first player to take this action also takes the first hiker token as indicated by the board. The middle spot is for buying gear cards. Spend the required amount of sunshine tokens required to take one of the face-up gear cards and add it to your collection. Then fill its board spot with another card from the deck. Gear cards help you along on your journey through various ongoing benefits, and some also have instant actions that activate when you purchase the card. The first hiker to take this action gets a 1 sunshine discount for their purchase. In games of 4 or more, the first 2 hikers get this discount. The final spot on the trail end tile is Visit a Park. Pick from any face-up parks on the board, or horizontal parks in your own play area, spend the required tokens, and place it vertically in your play area, then fill its board spot with another card from the deck. The points indicated on visited parks will go toward your final score. Keep in mind that any number of hikers can occupy any of the trail end spots, but only the first 1, or 2 in the one case, get the bonus benefit. When both of your hikers have reached the trail end, your play is done for the season. When only 1 hiker is left on the trail, immediately move it to the trail end and take one of the actions there. Now, the season is over, and as shown on the board, a few things happen now. The player with the camera may turn in 1 token to take a picture, empty all canteens by returning their water to the supply, and return all hikers to the trailhead. You are now ready to set up the next season. Pick up all trail sites, not the trailhead or trail end, add an additional tile from the advanced site stack, shuffle them together, and create your new trail. Each new season trail is 1 tile longer than the last. Put the previous season card on the bottom of the deck and reveal a new season, taking into account any instant or ongoing actions. Finally, set out the weather tokens as set by the weather pattern on the season card. Now, the player with the first hiker token takes the first turn. After your 4th season ends with photo opportunity for the player with the camera, That's the end of the year and the end of the game. All players reveal their personal year cards, then score points from their photos, parks cards, as well as any bonuses from completed year cards. The first hiker token also grants 1 point to whoever holds it at game end. Whoever has the most points wins. If there is a tie, the win goes to whoever visited the most parks. If there's still a tie, the win is shared. If you are not playing with Nightfall, feel free to skip ahead. I should have everything timestamped, right? Otherwise, let's get into Nightfall. I did that last time. Let's get into Nightfall. Set up the game as normal with a couple changes. Shuffle the new parks cards into the normal deck and give everyone 1 wildlife token to start with. Also, leave the original year cards to the box. They are not used with this expansion. Nightfall's big addition is campsites. Set the campsite board under the trailhead, making sure to flip it to the 4+ side if playing with 4 or more players. Next, take the campsite tiles. If playing with 5 players, place the tile with the 5+ symbol to the right of the campsite board. Shuffle the rest and add 3 to the campsite area, making sure they are all on their Season 1 side, then return the others to the box. To pitch the tents, place 1 tent on every other space from right to left, starting from the site before the trail end. If playing with 1 to 3 players, 3 tents are used. If playing with 4 or more, add an additional tent between the 2 tents closest to the trailhead. I feel like this is super confusing, so hopefully I can add a graphic or something as a visual aid. It works. Shuffle the Nightfall year deck and deal 2 to each player for them to choose 1, just as in the normal game. Players place the cards they do not take on the bottom of the deck, and then the deck is placed on the campsite board. The Nightfall year deck has a bunch of new year goals for players to accomplish, now done incrementally, so the better you complete your year card, the more points you receive. You can also acquire more than the single starting year card to add to your display, and each unique year card will score at the end of the game. The new parks cards have instant actions on them that activate when they are visited. They may cost more than a regular park, but those instant actions can really help out in a pinch. Gear cards that discount a park cost do not cover the brown token symbol that is present on the new parks cards, only specific weather tokens. To use a tent token, you must land on the trail site one is located on. You then have the option to take the site action and possible weather token as normal, or take the tent token and place it on one of the available campsites. Note that you do not take a weather token if you take the camp action. Each campsite tile can only have 1 tent on them, so pick your site wisely. The campsites will change with the seasons, as indicated in the bottom right of each tile. The camp board also has 1 action slot in a 1 to 3 player game, and 2 slots in a 4 to 5 player game. The campsite actions are as follows. Trade a mountain or forest token for 5 sunshine or water tokens. Trade a forest or mountain token to take a photo, which can be done 2 times on a turn. Trade a water or sunshine for a wildlife token, which can be done 3 times on a turn. Gain a canteen and a water token. Move all water from your filled canteens back to your supply and then gain a water. Exchange one of your gear or year cards by placing it on the bottom of its deck, then taking a card from the top of that deck, or any available gear card if exchanging that. Pay 2 sunshine to clear all gear cards from the board and replace them, then take 1 for free, including the one on the top of the deck. On the 5+ campsite, you can gain a water or sunshine, reserve a park, and reignite your campfire. Finally, on the camp board itself, spend 3 sunshine to draw 2 year cards, keep 1, and return 1 to the bottom of the deck, which does not have to be the one you drew on that turn. As the seasons end, a couple additional changes are made. Firstly, remove all remaining weather tokens and tents from the campsites and trail. Flip any campsites as indicated, then replace the tents to the board as done in the setup. Lastly, the Nightfall expansion adds the optional rule Wild Love, which simply upgrades wildlife tokens to count as any 2 tokens instead of 1.